keys for them here on this Tuesday night. This is just the second to last game Lane Tech will be playing in the 2022 part of this season. They are not playing in a holiday tournament. Meanwhile, Ignatius will be headed up to York next week to take place in the Jack Tosh tournament. It's a pretty loaded field. Rolling Meadows is in that one. They're one of the favorites in the tournament. St. Pat's, Lions, Lamont, GBS. So that's going to be a fun tournament next week, and we'll see if Ignatius can pull away with a possible victory. As we mentioned, they have yet to lose to an in-state opponent yet this 2022 season. As they get to Kotecki, back to Kemp. Nice quick ball movement here from Ignatius. Barron will work things inside and pass it out to Kotecki. The big man's been playing from the outside a lot here tonight. And now Ignatius will reset the basketball. One of the things about this Ignatius team, they're built like a college or an NBA roster. They have the perfect mix of forwards, guards, combo players, as Barron's first three of the night off the mark. But they just have such a diverse roster that really helps them so far this season. As Salibo gets it to a cutting Labcon, who can't finish with the two. Scantlebury reaches in for the jump ball, and Lane Tech will get possession back. Labcon coming off a 10-point performance against West Aurora on Saturday. That is a season high for him, a varsity career high. He was playing on the JV team for St. Ignatius last year. As Jack Soar gets ready for an inbound and gives it out to Scantlebury. Second shot of the night from Labcon off the mark, and with 4.5 left to go, Ignatius will take it up. Still the lead just at 2 for the Wolfpack here, as tripping to the ground. A foul's going to be called here against Jackson Labcon, and heading to, we'll see if it's called on the ground or at the line. It will say it was on the ground, so heading to inbound it is going to be, let's see, so far no one. Now they're going to put Kemp there to inbound things. Instead it will be Barron. No substitutes yet into the game for either one of these squads. They get the quick ball out to Ray. Lane Tech's done a good job of shutting Ray down early on. 4.5 to play in the first quarter. They instead send Kemp to drive. He puts it out to Ray, and he'll back things off. Early on, this Ignatius team was kind of rushing their possession. Since then, they've slowed things down as an excellent left-handed finish there from Barron. Moves the lead to 4 points, the largest it's been tonight for either team. And an early 6-2 lead here for St. Ignatius. Steal forced here, and finishing with the jam is number 13, Phoenix Gill. Not the biggest player on the court, but he knows how to get up there, and he slams it in for the most electrifying basket of the night. Mostly a Lane Tech crowd here, so the fans were pretty quiet after that one, but some nice momentum here in the direction of the Wolfpack, who take an 8-2 lead with 3:47 to go in the first quarter, as Lorenzo Aquino will check into the game here for Jackson Labcon. So that will be the first substitution of the night here, and it goes for Lane Tech. Lane recently been going with a 7 to 9 man rotation. They've been getting about 2/3 of their guys into most games. We'll see if that continues here tonight, as Lorenzo Aquino will run the point after coming off the bench. This is the first game this season he has not started, but he still comes in about halfway through this first quarter. Lane has not scored since the first minute of play. Williams trying to drive in, goes up for the awkward two. Kotecki grabs that one out of the air. Didn't even have to jump much for that one. His 6'9 frame was able to reach up and get it, and Ignatius will get possession back. Nice ball movement. They get it to Kemp in the corner, and now they'll reset things through Barron. Barron, one of the top players on the squad last year. This year, one of the true leaders, as Aquino sees that one, reads it perfectly, and picks it off here. Now Salibo trying for his second basket of the night. They feed Scantlebury down low, who gets the 2 to go, and Lane Tech finally breaks that 3+ minute scoring drought to pull within 4 of the Wolfpack here with 2:50 to go in quarter number 1 of action. Heart of the lineup for the Lincoln Park Lions as we enter the top of the second inning. Lane Tech with an early 2-0 lead here in the Chicago Public League quarterfinals. It will be Ike Darashin, the cleanup hitter, leading us off. Brett Lindsay hitting second, and Elias Alexander, the 6th hitter, hitting third here in the second as curveball bounced to Sir at first. He slips, but will flip it to Meza, who runs to the bag for a 3-1 put out, and that is 4 batters retired to start off the game for the champions. Lane Tech had a weird game last night where they ended up throwing a no-hitter, but they had 2 hit-by pitches and also, I think, 6, 7, or 8 walks. So there was plenty of base runners for Solorio, but they did not get a hit. And that trend has continued here into the quarterfinals as first pitch misses outside here, and we'll move to a 1-0 count on Brett Lindsay, the lefty pitcher for the Lions. Foul this one into the glove, and we'll even out the count. Both the pitchers tonight wearing the number 7 jerseys, and both of them seniors as well. But we have Meza from the right side of the mound, Lindsay from the left side of the mound, and also a little more success here for Meza in these first couple of batters faced off against. Chased Lindsay with a fastball on the last pitch. This time he'll go change up high and away. Cannot fool Lindsay that time, and will even out the count 2-2 the counts. It's like some track action going on over at Lane Stadium right now. And we mentioned it's a beautiful, beautiful day for high school athletics here in Chicago. About 78 degrees at first pitch. As we'll now see a 3-2 offering to Lindsay. Had a home run last night. This time it'll be a strikeout looking in his first at-bat. Second strikeout of the day for Jacob Meza, and 5 up, 5 down to start off the day for Lane Tech defensively. And Elias Alexander will try to end that streak here, the shortstop for the Lions, who's been really good defensively for a couple of years now for Lincoln Park. As curveball, beautiful pitch there to the bottom part of the plate, will get Meza ahead in the count 0-1. This one sky towards shallow left field. Moving in is Berg, and he makes the grab for out number 3. 1-2-3 once again in the second. We'll head to the bottom of inning number 2. Still the champions 2, the Lions nothing. You're watching Lane Tech Baseball here on the Lane Tech Athletics YouTube channel. Try a couple trick plays here tonight. This one, not a super long kick, taken here by Thurmond at around the 20-yard line. He gets past a couple of tackles off to the 35. He's still on his feet, and an excellent run there from Jacoby Thurmond. We said one of the keys to the game here tonight is going to be good starting field position for the champions, and they get that here to start off their offensive drive here. That one ran from around the 20-yard line all the way out to the Lane Tech 41 yards. So Thurmond, who's played majority of this season as a cornerback, has had a couple of carries offensively, but mostly a defensive player, has a very nice kickoff return here. And with 58 seconds to go in quarter number 1, Lane Tech is going to take over possession here. Lane Tech going with their classic double wing offense. We had a flag on the field against Phillips, and that's going to move it up 5 yards. So Lane Tech will start off their drive with 1st and 5 from the 46-yard line of their own side of the field. It's the complete opposite of Phillips, who had a first down and about 20 after a holding on their first play of the game. So some early fortune for Lane Tech offensively. We'll see what they can do with it. Double wing offense for Lane Tech per usual here tonight. Mark Seward's going to be under center. Katsagradakis, Casey Joyce, Finn Merrill in motion. And I believe that's going to be an offsides on Phillips. And that's going to be an automatic first down for Lane Tech. So 2 offsides, we believe, to start off this game. That should move the chains. And Lane Tech gets it into Phillips territory without even having to snap the ball after a 21-yard return from Jacoby Thurmond and then a 2 5-yard penalties. So good start here for Lane Tech. Now we'll see what they can do. Merrill in motion. Looks like the same play here for Lane Tech. They get it to Merrill, who goes up the middle. Quick tackle there by number 77, Travis Bryant, the 6'3" tackle for this Wildcat squad, and they give him 1 yard, it looks like, so they bring him up to the 48. It's one of the biggest question marks here tonight. Merrill has been undersized all year long, but just so strong. Comes in at 5'5", but a lot of muscle on him means that he's been able to fight through so many defensive lines, but playing the biggest D-line yet against this Phillips team. They give it to Merrill again, goes to the right side, and looks like he's going to be stopped probably for a loss there. Might have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage, and that should bring us to the end of the first quarter. Not a lot of fans out for Phillips. Definitely a much longer ride up from Phillips than for the local fans here at Lane Tech. So 3rd down and long for the champions. They've only gone almost straight up the middle. I have a feeling they might try to work the outside here, and you really see no one outside the middle here for Phillips. They do have a lot of speed defensively. They put Merrill in motion again. They hand it off to Joyce. Joyce out the middle. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. Joyce is going to go to the end zone. 49 yards for Casey Joyce on the first play of the second quarter. He went 51 last week against Clark for Lane Tech's first touchdown. He goes 49 here tonight for Lane Tech's first, and the champions are going to tie it up at 6. Phillips just totally not ready for that play. It's one of the classic ones Lane Tech has ran all year long. They pitch it to Merrill. They have Merrill give it to Joyce, and now if Mugdem Creo can hit the extra point, which he's been very good at hitting this year, this is going to be a very early lead for the champions, 7-6 with 11. Is what we saw earlier as Crane just softly punches this one over. Shabas, you'd think Lane Tech would be ready for that, considering she's used it against them at least 5 times this year, but she does her fake pass, puts it over the net, finds the open court once again, type of shot. And she gives the Dolphins their biggest lead of the set at 5. However, Ouimet sends this one into the net. And Lane Tech will get their serve back for Addison Stoner, who checks into the game. Campbell Wild also comes in for Ahmad and Hong. That's been the rotation all night long. Those two coming in for the other two. Stoner serves from the right side, received by Poston, the libero for this squad. Laying down the hit, Rose. She gets one of her first kills of the night. And the Dolphins to double digits here. They double up Lane Tech score 10-5 here in set number 2. They'll send Espino back to serve. An awkward reception there from Stauber. However, Lane Tech still able to keep the point alive, and Shabas does the same type of shot she did about 2 points ago. This time, however, she sends it to the outside instead of the middle of the court. But either way, it'll fall for a Dolphins point. They go ahead 11-5 here in set number 2. Espino again goes down the near side of the court. Some excellent air on the jump there from Lou to put it over for the Dolphins. Now Ouimet again from the other side. A nice dig there from Stauber to keep the point alive, and Crane sends this one into the net. Looked like her and Brooke Anderson were both readying for the points, but Crane ultimately gets a piece of it, sends it into the net, and Whitney Young rolling out to a 7-point lead, their biggest of the night. Anderson gets blocked in the front row, and they're going to give the point to Lane Tech. Looked like a double called there against one of these champions players. And we've seen quite the run here for Whitney Young to go up by 8 now, 13-5. And Lane Tech's going to need to quiet this run quickly. We've already seen Lane use one of their timeouts here in the second set, as laying down her second kill in just a couple of points as Willow Rose, the junior middle blocker, played great defensively in the first set. Now her offensive side is waking up in set number 2 as the Dolphins look to go up by double digits. Espino with a very shallow serve, an excellent reception there by Stauber. Now from the right side, Lou, and Stoner keeps it alive. Crane has to dive to stay on side, but this one heads into the far side bleachers. And Whitney Young up by 10 now, 15-5 in set number 2. Lane Sack's going to call their 4th timeout of the night, the 2nd of the set.